Yeah, so my name's Fernando Barbosa. I run Built by Barbosa. And before coming to NextGen, I had nothing. I had an Instagram page with 100 followers and was kind of financially in the red. And, I'm an actor as well. So I needed to come up with a way to make money that would still allow me to travel and like take gigs and stuff like that. And then I had a friend that had worked with Mike, and I was looking for something to help me start. And I just didn't know, coaching is hard. And so I had an interview with someone. I got in a call with someone that kind of made me feel gross. And I wasn't too convinced about finding a mentorship. But then this friend, who was someone that I trust, that I know has a quality of life and has a life that I wanted to have, I reached out and I said, "Hey, how did you do this?" And he said verbatim, "I had a mentor. His name is Mike. I'll put you guys in a group chat only if you're serious." And I said, "Put us in a call." And so I hopped on this call with Mike, told him everything that was going on, and that I wanted to change my life and kind of, be a coach, have financial freedom, and be able to travel when I needed to travel for work.
What were some things, Fernando, that you wish you could do pre-program that you just couldn't because of whether it's finances, freedom, etc.?
So when I got gigs that are out of town, for example, I have to beg for time off from my boss. And like when you work in LA, like if you're not local, you have to buy a flight, you have to buy the hotel, and you got to have that fucking money ready to go. And so I needed to have that financial freedom. I needed to have that schedule freedom that I could just take my laptop and just relocate whenever I needed to relocate.
And so there's a lot of mentors and stuff out there, and people have been burned, and there's a lot of skepticism, of course, with everything with online, who's a scammer, who's legit. So what were some of your own doubts and fears before joining Next Gen CEOs when you and I first spoke?
Yeah, it's always like, you get on a call with someone and they're like, "Hey, I can help you for this much." It's always scary when you decide to make that initial investment in yourself. And once you kind of get past that and you just quiet the buyer's remorse, I think for me, really, the only thing that I was scared was that, I wasn't going to make my money back. But then to be honest, I was a special case because the person that referred me to you was just an incredible human being. And so that remorse that I had was gone immediately. And, so it was also kind of belief in myself, wondering like, can I do this? This is something that I've never done before. I don't know how to do this. Can Mike Gerardi help me build a business from the ground up? And SparkNotes, yes.
Awesome. And we've had great results. Tell everyone what has kind of been your results throughout the program, monetarily, not monetarily, mentally, physically, anything at all that you deem, hey, this was amazing.
Yeah. So like I said, when I started with this program, my Instagram page was at like, I think 100 followers. And Mike has you got this really comprehensive course that kind of just teaches you how to build. Yeah. And so within 3 weeks, I think, of being in the program, I had like 100 followers. And then 3 weeks later, I was climbing 2,000. And it was just steadily climbing. And the views that my videos were getting 100 views, all of a sudden within like 2 weeks, I had a video that was currently now, I think it hit like 1.4 million like 2 weeks after I joined the program. And I had nobody. And then after that, like it got to a point really fast where if one of my videos didn't hit 10,000 views, it was a flop. Within 2 weeks. That's absolutely insane. And it just kind of like goes to show that, like, one, it's my work ethic, but two, it's just the framework. It's just kind of the framework that you drill in us, especially like in the content clinics, telling us, "Hey, that's kind of a weak idea. Tweak it a little bit." And then, we do what Mike says to do. I kept joking throughout this program. Whenever I listen to Mike and I just do what Mike tells me to do, it works out.
Tends
So
to
just
work.
like, yeah, right. So my content would do better. My followers kept growing, and it was just my sales got better. With just kind of having Mike watch the sales calls and just kind of being like, "Hey, you're talking too much. Hey, you're not asking the right questions. You're not digging enough." Same thing with the messaging.
Would you say that this was a good investment for you? And did you make all your money back, or what was your ROI? Well, did you make a
So
full ROI?
yeah, I made a full ROI. I made the ROI within like the 2 weeks. I made that money back in like 2 weeks, which is like crazy now that I think about it.
Your first month in the program, how much did you make?
I think I finished that month, and mind you, I had nothing. I made 8K that month from like having no business, and I managed to make almost 10K in my first month.
That's that's $100,000 per year run rate, which is pretty darn good. Now, what did we implement into your business that helped you get those results?
So we did a lot of back end stuff. So kind of just setting up my calendar, setting up, the many chats, and kind of make sure that like no one is going under the radar in terms of Instagram, having the ways for people to just be able to book a call with me, whether that's through lead messaging or just being able to just find me, talking about like running ads and stuff like that, having people like be able to seek me out. making sure that my training app is just good to go, so that when I onboard someone, I can get them started like ASAP, and just kind of having everything that you could possibly need on the back end to just be able to get someone started was there. Everything that I could have possibly needed. And then really the only thing that ever held me back was me being scared to ask a question because I thought it was dumb. You know what I'm saying? And there's no dumb questions. And when I got around that and I started asking help for things that were confusing to me because I was new to this.
And what turned you off about the other coaching program that you had spoken to before me that ultimately led you not to do that one and led you to do this one? And do you feel as though your experience here has been one where you felt like it's been one-to-one and personalized? Or do you feel like it's more of a group setting? What would you tell someone watching this that's wondering, is this more group? Is it one-to-one? Am I going to be a faceless client? Or is Mike always there? What would you tell that person?
Yeah, so I would say with this mentorship, it's fucking everything. It's everything. It's one-to-one, it's group, it's all encompassing. It's overwhelming how available help is all the time, you know? And it's not just like Mike, you know, we see it's one of the reasons I didn't go that other mentorship. So I got on that call and just immediately I felt like I was being scammed. Like there's just sometimes you get on a call with someone and you just like get the bad vibe, and I just couldn't shake the bad vibe. And then the salesman was using some really aggressive tactics and making me feel like shit about not wanting to do the program and stuff like that. And I was really turned off to that. And that call left a really bad taste in my mouth. And I just like, don't, even if they follow up with me, I'm ghosting them because that kind of, they made me feel like shit. I don't want to work with you if you make me feel like shit.
Right.
And then, you know, get on a call with you and seeing your testimonials, and, you know, you have such a great way of getting us excited for these calls where I just, you know, I had one living proof of my friend that worked with you. And then just seeing everybody else, you know, in my community that has worked with you be as successful as they are. And like the through line is I went with Mike. Mike helped me. Mike mentored me. Just being on our call, I remember like hearing you talk, I was like, no, yeah, I got it. And I think you'll remember this from the call, but like dude, I came in like 2 minutes in, I was like, yeah, just let's do it. I'm ready. Run my credit card. I'm ready. And I think it's a very rare quality to, you know, be that kind of person where you can talk to someone and they know that you're not trying to bullshit them. And there was never one time that I ever felt like on our sales calls, at least, that you were ever trying to bullshit me. And then kind of going back to my last point, I got into the program, and it wasn't even before I went. It was like before I even got to one of like the group calls, before I even had a one-on-one with you, just going through the course, I was like, this should be more expensive than what I paid. I'm not even like, my girlfriend was like, Fernando, you invested a lot of money. And then just watch me go through like one of the sections. And she also was like, that should be more expensive. And I said, I know.
That's awesome.
You know,
well, your experiences are shared with a lot of other people. There are a lot of other business coaches and gurus out there that have talked down to people, have burned people, and they're skeptical because this has happened so many times and you hear about it all the time. So what would you tell someone who's watching this right now, is on the fence about joining NextGenCEOs, on the fence whether or not they can trust me, on the fence of whether or not this is just another windmill coaching scam? What would you tell that person who's on the fence?
Take the risk. You'll be better off. You want to be a CEO, you can't be scared of doing shit. And you see the results, you see the receipts. Mike only has receipts. If you look at those receipts and think, oh, I don't know about this, then maybe you might be in the wrong business. Because yeah, you can look up all of this online, right? You can look up how to do web XYZ, but you have someone that has proven that they can do it themselves. And because they're so good at doing it themselves, that they can teach you how to do it. If you look at that and think, I don't know, I don't honestly think you shouldn't even be an online coach, because if you're scared of taking risks, you shouldn't be a CEO.
100%. The definition of an entrepreneur is a risk taker. So I love that. I love ending on that note.